So, at my last, I'm done, Mayor. You know, I'm a preacher too. I'm a bishop. Did you participate in the hiring of these 25 employees, or who did the hiring process for these 25 employees? And is it true that a volunteer did the hiring process, which will be a violation of their privacy? You throw hard balls.
No, I did not participate in the process. There were a combination of city employees and non-city employee volunteers who did participate in the hiring process. I don't know if that is a violation of the Privacy Act or not. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know.
So is it all right for volunteers to get your private information, being that you're a government buff?
Under my watch, I would not have non-city workers participating in a city hiring process. That did not occur under my watch. I think it's ill-advised, and I would recommend that it not occur.
Last question. And I want to thank you for what you were able to do. For me standing on the other side of the podium and even sitting in the seat, I can't say that you earned your money. And some people support the last guy receiving a $200,000 settlement, trying to hurry it up out of court. But I will say that you've answered the tough questions and you stood for something other than going on vacations and bringing back nothing. Did the emergency financial manager refuse to renew your contract as the city commission voted to keep you on the payroll for the city of Benton Harbor? I'll yield the floor after that.
I think, Commissioner, that all played out in the Herald Palladium. The commission voted to extend my contract a year, and the EFM decided not to, and gave his explanation in the Palladium the next day. So I think that's all very much public information, but if I may say this, do not feel sorry for me. I am a seasoned senior public service administrator. I have had a half a dozen of these types of positions in my career. It's just good government when politics takes precedence over productivity. I knew coming in that this position was political, and I'm going out politically. It's the nature of the beast. So no one should feel sorry for Ron Carter. I accepted this when I came here. I would like to stay. I think I have a lot to offer, but I think my time is up. And that is the decision of the EFM, and he should not be chastised for making a decision that's well within his authority.
There's no influence over the city manager except the paying funding. You work for the mayor and the commission. You don't work for Joe Harry. That's by charter. And they cannot violate the city charter. Now, he does not assume the responsibility of the mayor and of the city commission. But again, it's a violation of the city charter. A lot of things that Mr. Harris is doing is a violation, total violation of the city of Benton Harbor and of our charter. The charter is our Bible. And as mayor, I'm going to say a couple of things. Let me say when we talk with you, I'm going to give you some accolades. I think you've done a yeoman's job here in the city of Benton Harbor. We first went to Lansing, they stated we didn't have a plan. We went back to Lansing, we had a plan, but it wasn't good enough. We came back the third time, they started implementing the plan. They're implementing the plan that the council and you presented. But it's no good. So they're speaking with forked tongues, if you ask me. You've done a yeoman's job. I'm reading I have some stuff here too. It states that what we have to do in the city. What I do with that? All right. All contracts require certain signatures. The mayor shall sign, the city clerk shall attest to, the city manager shall approve as to substance, and the city attorney shall approve as to form. All contracts and agreements require the assets of the city, and unless otherwise provided by the law. If, I'm going to say something right now, and if all contracts to date does not have those signatures, we will deem null and void. They can't do that without the approval. The signatures have to be correct. I'm going to ask the city attorney, the city clerk, to publish that, to a public announcement in the print media, that if they don't have the signature, appropriate signature, that all contracts may be deemed null and void, unless attested to by a higher authority. When the gentleman came here first, he said he would not cut public safety. One of the first things they said, they cut public safety first. Secondly, we would not sell city assets. They started selling city assets. I was amazed to read in the paper that the city sells the water line. That wasn't the city, it was Joe Harris. You used to sell it, not the city. This is the city here. The legislative body constitutes the city, the authority of the city. He sold it, and if do not have the appropriate signature, then we'll deem that null and void too. I don't understand it. We talk about a city that's running a deficit. But then we hire more people, we add to the deficit. You know what's so bad about this whole thing, if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen? Benton Harbor has one of the highest unemployment rates in the country, not only in the state of Michigan, but in the country. And then you come in and you add to that by laying off city employees and hiring other individuals. I don't see how that's productive. I don't mind you coming in, taking care of the finance of the city and doing certain things, but I want to know, you cannot continue to cut and lay off people in the community unless you can bring in new revenues. I have not heard one word, one iota word about what can be done to generate new revenue except you. Now, you've given us some ideas, but we haven't heard of anyone else. And how are you going to balance the budget on the backs of the citizens of our community who's unemployed, who don't have a job? They're going to pick up the brunt of the burden. I don't understand it. I mean, I sit around listening, I've been quiet, I haven't said anything. And then I don't need to come in and cut the salary. He took out the mayor commission's secretary. You know, we're not saying it's not a cell phone issue, because we all have our own cell phones. He took the cell phone. Took the computers out of the mayor commission's office. Took away paper and pen. I mean, it is a violation. And it's really a vindictive approach against the legislative body of this community, who will not roll over and play dead and follow his lead. And we weren't elected to do that. As I said many times, we are a city under siege and under occupation, and we really and truly are.
Honorable City Manager, with the difficulty of, as I heard Commissioner Marshall state, these things not being posted, is there any way that you can give him a mandate or a suggestion, I guess, that per his contract, these things be made available? Because in the city hoodwinking, well, the 200 turkey deal, when they was giving away the turkeys, 500 turkeys with 200, it was 200 in the paper when they gave them away. It was 500 to give them that 200 when they gave them away. He stated that he was going to communicate with the citizens, and specifically you can see where he left out the governing body. Is there any way that you can give him a piece of information from the local government? And my last question is, who will be the point person? Because as it is right now, you're the city manager. Without Ivy Gill, without Zinzile Mohammed, when you call City Hall, who are you going to get? A volunteer? Is the volunteer who did the hiring going to answer? Who are you going to get? Because the way the system is routed now, it would almost be impossible unless they routed the system or rerouted, or I guess his new telecommunications contract might have this in there. But who are the citizens going to get now? Are you going to get an assistant for finance, an assistant for this, and they're going to be now posted as our contact? Because as of right now, being that the city commission has no phone, we have no communication. Really, the phone, I had a phone before I got here, and I have a phone before I leave, and when I leave. But there's no communication for the citizens. So how can the citizens communicate with the city?
Commissioner, I have no answer to that question. I think Mr. Harris is the only person who could respond. I don't know how he intends to manage the government without a city manager.
Mr. Manager, is this Whirlpool Benton Township emergency financial manager, was this a secret deal? Because nobody knows the terms of it.
Yeah, I don't know by definition when you say secret. I'm not sure. We all were aware that negotiations were taking place. The final disposition of those negotiations, it appears that no one is aware. I mean, we knew that the negotiations were happening, but no one has seen the contracts. Again, I was not privy to any of the contract discussions, so whatever deal was ultimately struck, it did not include any elected officials, the city manager, city attorney, or the city clerk.
I have to correct you, Honorable Manager.
Okay.
The elected official from Benton Township was present, the supervisor, Nora Jefferson.
Oh, when I say elected officials, I speak of our city.
So we were the only elected officials,
None of our elected officials.
ostracized from the process.
We were, Benton Harbor elected officials were not present in the negotiations.
Thank you, Honorable.
Probably we're not even invited. But the question is really asked here, what's going to happen when we no longer have a city manager? Is this legislative body going to have to declare an emergency and take control of the city government, control of the administrative office as well as the executive branch?
And I can't answer that
You
question.
will have to declare. It's either the financial manager is going to want to be the city manager. That's the plan. He wants to be city manager. Now, it's either Ron or Joe. And I think that we, as an elected body, can declare an emergency. And we can take control and take the administrative branch, and we'll have a commission-run city instead of a city manager-run government.
I can't say, Honorable Mayor, the first time I met with Mr. Harris, he told me we need 5 votes. And he said to me, we need you on our team.
That's right.
And I told him, the only team and side that I'm on is the side of the people. So if he's on that team, then I'm on his team. And we're on the same team. But he's not on the side of the people. Everything he's done is against the citizens in the city of Benton Harbor. He's laid off workers. Now we won't have a police chief. We'll have a public safety director. No fire department. I mean, what would constitute us as a city? No mention of Lakeshore or Stevensville in terms of finances. That has been thrown under the rug. But in Governor Granholm, probably, is getting some, well, I won't say.